This is Howard X, the Kim Jong Un impersonator. He recently attended a June 4th commemoration in Japan, and he got the idea to go to the Osaka World Expo and try to get people to take pictures holding up a rocket that has some messages regarding to Tiananmen Square 1989. And it's here at the China Pavilion. He was followed by two Chinese agents who seemingly did not want him to make any more noise, and workers surrounded him, preventing him from taking photos with fellow tourists. I got a chance to speak with Howard X about this experience and some of the reasons why he decided to do what he did. And if you want to watch the entire exchange that happened to him, make sure to go to Howard's channel and check out the video. So why has the Kim Jong Un impersonator decided to protest against his good friend Xi Jinping's behaviors? Howard X, thanks so much for joining me. Why did you decide to go there?
So I've been performing on the streets of Osaka for the last 3 months, and taking pictures with tourists, that kind of thing. We're impersonators. We get paid to take pictures with people. So street performer, I was testing out my new jokes, and I noticed there was actually a lot of Chinese people in Osaka. I mean, almost everyone I met was Chinese. And there's about 7 million Chinese tourists going to Japan every year since 2024. So, and they had the World Expo, which is taking place. It's a huge deal for every government, especially China, because they get to push their soft power or propaganda onto the masses, and that's attended by millions of Japanese people as well. So I decided, look, on June 4th, I need to do something, because there were rallies being held in Tokyo, but they never get the press coverage because people are kind of sick of the candle vigil. That kind of line. So I thought, as a satirist and as a Kim Jong impersonator, I'll decide to make a joke out of it to bring attention to what happened, because that's the thing that the CCP hates people bringing attention to this fact, especially outsiders. So I thought, I need to do something. Well, what would Kim Jong say if he was to see Xi Jinping, because Kim Jong does not care what the world thinks of him. I mean, he's willing to launch nukes over Japan. He kills his brother in broad daylight and his uncle, and a number of other atrocities. He doesn't hide the fact that he's got concentration camps. So I thought, he would actually say to Xi, look, boast about killing people, stop hiding June 4th. So I went along with that joke, and I went to the expo, which I know there's a lot of security, and this is I thought about this only 48 hours before June 4th. I thought, okay, I've got the joke now, so I got to do something. So I didn't even have a cameraman, but I did have a body camera and my iPhone. So I went in character with my rocket, with the sign saying, "Stop being such a wimp. Stop censoring June 4th, be a dictator like me and own up to your atrocities." Something along those lines. I had it in 4 different languages. I had it in Chinese, I had it in Korean, Japanese, and English, because, it was an international crowd.
Yeah.
So when I got there, I was actually, meeting people, and there was no problem for 10 minutes. And then the security guard noticed, okay, there's something wrong here. Why is there a Kim Jong in front of the China Pavilion? And everybody's laughing and taking photos. You like my rocket? Go, take.
No.
Hey. So that's when they kicked into action. They got all their security guards and to hide, to get the umbrellas to block me. Typical behavior, which I expected of them. All authoritarian regimes hate jokes about them, and hate them, people like me bringing the stuff up. So that's the one weakness of the CCP. They care about face. So whenever they feel they lose face, they would act in such a way, which is really this. It made the situation worse.
Did they? So later they had 2 people tell you. Was that on the same night, or was that in a different day now?
Okay, so what happened was that I was there. I was refusing to go. They said, you have to leave. I'm told them I'm the supreme leader. You don't tell me what to do. Plus, I'm in Japan. I have this
Yeah.
right. So I was really annoying them for a good 15, I don't know, see, maybe it could be up to half an hour. I didn't time. And then they called the police. The police came and said, "Hey, what are you doing? Can you stop doing this?" I said, "No, I'm not going to stop doing it." And there was like another 15 minutes, and I was using a Google Translate to talk to the cops, and they were pretty polite and very very chilled. I told them what I was doing. I had this right, but they were sent there just to calm the situation. And so I got it was drawing a crowd all around me, during this situation, and it was getting dark. I did it around sunset. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna go to the Taiwan Pavilion and have a look, since I only got another 2 hours before they close. So I actually was on my way to the Taiwan Pavilion, and I noticed these two guys following me, and they weren't doing a very good job like they weren't trying to be like subtle about it. They were like just there, like just to let me know we're watching you. So I thought, I walked up
Yeah.
to them and say, and started filming them, and then they got pissed off, and then they start trying to block me, and as you can see in the footage, and then that's when they
Yeah.
left.
And before we continue, you see how crazy people are sometimes. Maybe they need a good supplement to calm them down. And that's why I always travel with my Gen X American Ginseng Extract. This is a 2-drop wonder. Now, usually when I'm on the road and I get very fatigued, I take 2 drops of this stuff. It feels like I just had so many cups of coffee, except, of course, I don't crash. The reason is ginseng products, especially Gen X American Ginseng Extract, which contains about 8% ginsenoside, actually has many health benefits, including boosting your immunity, supporting your brain functions, as well as helping you recover, along with other great benefits. The extract boosts a 95% absorption rate and, like I mentioned, 8% ginsenoside, which is actually top of the line among American ginseng products. It's also regulated by the Canadian equivalent of the FDA, so you know this is legit. For over 2 years, I've noticed a great change in my sleep, which means that I wake up feeling rejuvenated. And also, sometimes I get brain fogs, whether that's me editing a video, trying to write a script, or even coming up with this ad placement. Yet it takes a lot of brain power. And Gen X really helps with that. Now, again, I simply just take it before bed, so you can do it after a meal, and that's all you need for some natural boost to your mental state as well as to your overall natural immunity. No more 45-minute doom scrolling on your phone before you can come up with an idea. So check out the link in the description and get your Gen X American Ginseng Extract today. All right, back to the video. So I'm very confused about this is or the part I'm very confused about is because this is in Japan, right? This is not Hong Kong or mainland China. What sort of if you know anything about this, what sort of jurisdiction do they have over that? Is it just because they're part of the expo and that's why they could do this, or do you know like why they were? Because I saw them, they were also blocking Chinese tourists from taking photos with you too.
They're blocking all tourists from taking photos. And yeah, what they did was not illegal, but it was definitely not to the norms of what the Japanese would put up with. I mean, Japanese. There was quite a few Japanese guys getting really pissed off at these guards because they want to take pictures of me, and these people were blocking them, and the Japanese were not used to having this,
Yeah.
and and you can see what happened. People see,
Yeah.
it was like I would talk to somebody and then they would try to block him. But I knew they would do that. And by having this situation, it always makes things worse because when I visited the North Korean cheerleaders in
Yeah. Yeah.
in South Korea, uh, those people behaved the same way. And I actually got physically assaulted as well.
Yeah.
But they did it in
Yeah.
front of the cameras. And when that happened, it made it worse. And then it became international news.
Yeah.
So as a satirist, I couldn't ask for better. So they behaved exactly the way I expected them to. And
And of all the, because I'm sure you've traveled quite a lot now, of all the countries, obviously from China aside and North Korea, have people usually, because I know you were in New York too, right? Have people been pretty similar in terms of how they react to your performance, or was there any experience that was like you didn't feel like you were welcomed in dressed as Kim Jong Un? Was there anything like that?
No, no. I'm always like 99% of the people always welcome me, and they always laugh. The first thing you see, they're they're laughing so hard that they can't move. You know, they're just like they're stunned. They're stunned. And when people see me, they are stunned. And I think the guards were like, "What the, you know, why is Kim Jong here?" They're like, their brains is blown. Okay, and then they saw the photo of the tankman, and then it took them a while to like actually process the data of what they're
Yeah,
seeing of what I was doing. So, yeah, I know I have that effect on people, and that's why I always use it, you know,
I see.
to create political satire. Because, you know, I felt whilst my comrades are sitting in jail in Hong Kong and China, who are fighting for their most basic human rights, I think, you know, as a Hong Konger and Australian citizen, I have this privilege of not having to pay the same consequences that a Chinese person would do. Because if the Chinese person did the same thing, first of all, they'd probably be arrested on the when they go
Yeah.
back home, or if they're in exile, their family is going to be messed with. So I think I will speak to all activists and all, you know, Chinese people who are outside, who have that, you know, foreign passport, to take advantage of your status and actually speak up. And I think the expo in Osaka is the perfect venue, because it is where they try to push the venue, push their narrative, um,
Yeah.
and also there's actually a lot of people around, so that you know, you want people's attention, and that's what they don't want. They don't want people's attention. They don't want people bringing light to, you know, whether they started they covered up the pandemic, or, you know, June 4th. These are really embarrassing facts that they cannot face up. And as a satirist, it's the perfect joke to go with.
Will we ever see a Xi Jinping cosplay from you or a Xi Jinping impersonation from you?
Look, I can only do Kim Jong, because that's what I look like. I was born looking like an asshole. I thought I'll make the most of it. But there are Xi Jinping lookalikes, um,
Yes. Yes.
but they keep a very low profile.
Yes.
And and the ones that don't, the government will try to keep tabs on them. They're all in China. So I would say to all your viewers out there, if you know of a Xi Jinping lookalike, contact me, or have them contact me, and I'll give them a new career, a very profitable one as well. I've been doing this for 12 years, since 2013. So yeah, I become full time and I travel the world doing my thing. So if there's someone that looks like Xi, yeah, I would love to partner up with. I already got Putin and Trump, so I already got all the dictators.
Wait, actually, I wanted to ask this question too. It was when you had the, like, you've been doing it for more than a decade. Did you start thinking that this was going to be a political thing, or you get yourself into this kind of, you know, issues with China or with North Korea, or did it just happen because, you know, the nature of things as it went along?
Well, I always been interested in North Korea, because the first time I came across North Korea was Kim Il Sung died in the 90s, and when I saw the footage, I was just so shocked that how can these people just be crying like that, and it was so exaggerated. So ever since that happened, I always like kept my eye on North Korea, and I've been like going to protest in Hong Kong, protesting, you know, especially the Chinese government, um, you know, and the violations of our you know, the two one country two systems for years. So when this came along, it was just a perfect fit. And
I see.
I mean, when I started off, I was always making jokes about everybody, you know, especially you know, other dictators. And I've used it for plenty of protests, and it always goes viral. Um, and yeah, it's a good tool that since I have this impersonation and that I look like him, I'm gonna use it to maximum effect. But I have to say,
Very
I'm an
good.
entertainer first and an activist second.
For this, thank you, Howard, and much appreciated.
Yeah, sure.